is Jason JROCK Houston, and it's my great pleasure to be speaking with lead guitarist Toni Aleman. And Toni is the lead guitar player from the new band featuring Juan Croucier, which is called right now Ratt's Juan Croucier. How are you doing tonight, Toni?
I am doing very good. How are you?
Yeah, this is an exciting new project, so I guess the best place to start off, if you could share with us, you know, growing up, were you much of a Ratt fan yourself?
I actually was at an early age. Like, one of my first bands that I really liked was Ratt. And specifically, I even have some old little Ratt posters laying around here in my studio from when I was like 12.
Wow. Okay, and so do you remember what was the point? I mean, what was the album where you kind of just first became aware of that there was this band Ratt?
Well, excuse me, sorry, what was that? I couldn't quite hear.
I was asking, you know, what was the album where, you know, Ratt came on your radar? Were you a fan from the very beginning, or like did you get into them a little down the line after they were around for a couple years?
Well, actually, I'm 24, so...
okay.
I didn't find out about Ratt until, like, what, 2000, let's see, 12, I was at, 2004 or so, 2005.
Wow.
I think I was in middle school, and I heard out of the cellar.
Wow.
You know, and I heard Round and Round and all that cool stuff, and I was like, oh my god, this band's awesome.
So that's kind of cool that you were like kind of a casual observer, because you kind of discovered a band, you know, after they had put out all these great albums. So that's got to be kind of interesting, and now you're actually playing with one of the guys that wrote a lot of those songs.
Yeah, it's a real trick when you really think about it. It's like, wow, I really enjoyed listening to it. It really helped me as a guitar player when I'm curious as to what a guitar was. So the very inspirational thing to pick up those songs and listen to them as a rock and roll guitar player at an early age. And now that it's kind of come somewhat full circle, I'm like, wow, I'm playing with Juan, playing all the music that kind of got me into the guitar in the first place.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, how did you get involved with this project? I mean, were they aware of you from other things you had done, or did you just hear that they were auditioning and come down and audition?
Well, you know what? I've known Pete since the time I was about 14 or so.
Oh.
I actually had Pete Holmes record on some of my original material when I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a whole story in itself. And then down the road, you know, we kind of run into each other, and we just kind of stayed in touch. So one day I got a call from Pete, and ultimately they were auditioning. However, I didn't know much about the audition at the time. I knew I was showing up at some place, and I was playing 3 songs that happened to be Ratt songs. Okay. Yeah. And that's really funny, because at the time I thought it was just like a jam band until I find myself at Juan's house. And I'm like, wait, this is a little peculiar.
Yeah.
It was actually a really good time, and once it all kind of came together, once I kind of pieced it together in my mind, I'll just wait a second, I'm actually playing the song legitimately with Juan.
Yeah.
So it was like a whole nerve-wracking experience, because I prepared the music, but it's kind of different once you realize you're playing in front of the guy who wrote the stuff.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing, and you know, I think what gives this band a lot of validity is the fact that, you know, he's one of the 4 principal songwriters that wrote this stuff. To me, it gives it more validity than Bobby Blotcher called his band Ratt. Well, you know, Bob may be the original drummer. You know, he didn't really write any of this stuff. You know, he's going out and playing these tunes that Juan and Stephen and Warren and Robin wrote. You know, that's just kind of my take on the whole, you know, situation. So, you know, when you first, you know, so were you kind of hired based on, like, would you say Pete's recommendation, or did they still like audition you and see if how they felt you fit in with the rest of the guys?
Well, yeah, I mean, I ultimately did do the entire audition process, which I know they called a very good amount of guitar players, some of them whom are you know, people that I bumped shoulders with, for example, in the music industry. And obviously, I did my part, and I showed up, and was called back and continued doing audition things, and finally eventually got the gig. I mean, I worked hard for it, per se.
Oh, of course.
Kind of popped up, yeah.
Now you said you previously, like a lot of guys, done your own original music thing. Now, can you tell us, was it a band name? Were you kind of putting out like instrumental solo music, or what was the deal with what you were doing prior to this?
Oh, well, prior to this, I think you might have heard of a band called World War.
What was that?
You've probably heard of a band called World War III.
Oh yeah, with Vinny Appice and Jimmy Bain.
And, I was actually playing with this man for the last 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got to play with Jimmy, and I've got to, I've been fortunate enough to play with a number of well-known musicians in and out of that band for like the last 5 years. And actually Keith kind of did that for a little bit too. And I also did a band called London, which I'm actually going to be doing a little stuff here and there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But ultimately, I mean, right now, my bread and butter, per se, is basically this band, and I'm also a part of an artist named Gabby Ray, who I'm currently playing with as well.
Oh, wow. And now, I got to ask you, how big of a Warren DeMartini fan are you? And as far, because I understand you're a guitar player in the band, primarily playing the lead part. So, like when you guys play a live show, do you play these tunes the way Warren would play them, or do you kind of also try to put your own little influence into, and style into the playing of these songs?
Well, you know what? It's a little bit of both, because when you listen to the records, what Warren DeMartini is playing is very cut and it's all there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not full everything. However, when he plays live, I notice that he embellishes a lot of stuff, which is something that you kind of get when you see Eddie Van Halen as well.
Yeah.
It's that sharp guitar player kind of feel, or I don't know what. Which is some of those guys are my favorite guitar players.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird because stylistically you can learn everything note for note. However, as somebody like Warren who does it naturally, he can play and talk the way he does and go in and out of anything he wants as himself. And so the key component of nailing his style is being able to embellish the way he would.
Yeah.
So one way, the way I've approached it is learning the stuff, but also kind of trying to figure out where he goes in and out.
Yeah, and
it's kind of trying to keep it as real as possible.
Yeah.
Every now and then, I mean, stylistically speaking, I kind of already sort of do some of that stuff naturally, so it's like I'm trying to find myself in his playing a little bit more.
Yeah, and and the cool thing about that is too, because if people want to hear it note for note, they can go home and put on the record. But of course, when you go see a band live in concert, you want them to jam out the songs a little bit, and you want to get a little different version than what's just on the record.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a little bit of both. I mean, there's some songs that obviously have to, you have to really think about playing the stuff where it really fits. Like, there's really important to kind of like, I mean, the solo is perfect. There's no other thing you can do to that.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of play that stuff the way it is. But the other songs can leave room for interpretation a little bit. Yeah,
and what's it been like playing in this band with your guitar partner Mike Moore? Because it sounds like World War III and that are typically bands where you're just a lone guitar player. Is this something you've enjoyed having another guy to kind of play off of?
Yeah, well, with Mike, me and Mike for a little bit together, and really we ended up at the audition at the same time. We're like, wait a second, I'm here, I know you.
Wow, how cool is that?
What was it?
I was saying, how cool is that you actually know this guy and you show up at the audition together?
Yeah, it was kind of cool. I was like, wow, I feel a lot comfortable, because when we found out he was doing all the fun stuff, it was kind of like, oh, I mean, we're perfect for that kind of a thing, and so I kind of felt like an instant breath of fresh air.
Yeah. And now, when you guys were practicing these songs and the band first got together, I imagine it sounds like you and Mike are kind of a new guys, and where you got Pete and Juan that are the veterans. You must have both these guys, especially Juan, telling when we wrote this song, when I wrote this song, lack of communication, this is what it was about. Has there been any of that going on?
Yeah, every now and then I'll hear a story about some of the songs and how they were created. Some of them were like in an apartment, and some of them were in and that kind of thing. It also kind of helped us out more with how the artist's intent for the song, as far as the tones and that kind of stuff. It's just really important thing that you don't necessarily think about. But someone who's like Juan very simple and knows a lot of what he's doing and what people around him are doing. So for me, it's been a learning experience to kind of nail more or less exactly the tone, the stylistic tone, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and a guy that talking about myself, a guy that's been a Ratt fan for years now, like since they did come out back in '84. These got to just be great songs to play because they've all got great hooks. They're all very catchy tunes, so they've got to be fun to play. But with that being said, you must be surprised to learn that a lot of these tunes were like written by a very dysfunctional band, guys that really weren't getting along, all that great. That's got to be kind of an interesting thing to find out.
Yeah, well, that's what happens is, at the bottom line of all this is that music, it's usually, I guess you could be a dysfunctional or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can still write really good music. I mean, when the goal is the music and your heart's in your instrument and everything, you can always come out with something that's very powerful, like a very strong message in the end. So, I mean, I really give you as major props for the music that you wrote.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to be playing the music in the end.
Yeah, I mean,
as a fan and a listener,
I'm
happy to be able to just partake in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's amazing because, like I said, these are all greatly written tunes. They've all got great hooks, and I mean, when you stop and think that they're being played on the radio, like almost 35 years later after they originally came out, that just speaks volumes to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's timeless music, timeless guitar parts, timeless good times. You know what I mean? They were a symbol of an era that reflected a certain level of comfort in the world, I guess, if that makes sense.
And so, share with me, Tony, what was the first show, like, when you guys went out there and played your first live show, what was that experience like for you? I mean, it must have been an amazing feeling that it was your very first, your debut show.
Well, actually, it was interesting. It was kind of because we did a lot of work prior to going into that first show. I mean, it was our first gig, but I played this set at least 50, 60, 70 times. You know what I mean? Like, we've had a room and we practiced, rehearsed, we got over everything again and again and again, trying to nail it. It was just a really a feeling of just completion for me. It's kind of like, okay, there we go. That's our first show, all that hard work. This is where we're at, and now we continue. It's actually really fulfilling. I kind of feel like I accomplished something. It's pretty much, I just feel really accomplished.
and then let me ask you, the band was actually announced around August 4th before, when you guys initially officially launched the band. Did you yourself have any concern when Mr. Blotzer went online and started making threats that he was going to shut you guys down? Was there any real concern that might happen?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't been concerned about that end of things.
Yeah.
We're not Ratt.
Yeah.
We're not calling ourselves Ratt.
Yeah.
If anything, it's Juan from Ratt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, ultimately, we're doing the thing, and I don't think there should be any concern for anybody out there, especially Ratt or the
Yeah. I mean, again, going back to the top of what I said at the interview, I think what really gives this project validity is, number one, he's calling it Ratt's Juan Croucier. That's kind of to get the band out there. People know who this is. He's not calling it Ratt. He's calling it the other voice of Ratt. That's exactly what this is. This guy was, he was like the Michael Anthony of Ratt. He was responsible for that background sound. He's the one guy in the band that, sang all those backgrounds. And he did a beautiful job. And again, this is one of the principal songwriters. So if anybody has a right to go out there and play this music, it's the guys that wrote it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really. I'm kind of soft-spoken when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I have a pretty defined goal as to what I'm doing in this band.
Yeah.
Where my role, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to pick sides with Ratt. I'm not sure.
I hear you. I think that's...
I respect everybody in the band. They all wrote a lot of music. They all performed. They brought in to the table, which I respect. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
So as far as anything, I mean, I just kind of try my best to represent and somewhat kind of hold the torch with what they did as a band.
Yeah.
And bring that to the fans who enjoy it. And that's pretty much my only job.
Yeah.
And if anything, I just hope that the fans will appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like, my job at the end of the day the only part that brings me validity to what I do is the one guy at the gig, or it could be 10 or 20, but as long as there's one guy who wants to be happy, I've done my job. And that's all it's about for me. Yeah,
I love your attitude there, Tony. And the other thing is, when I talked to Pete and Mike, they were sharing with me that right now it's just a matter of getting the band out there playing live, people coming to see you guys and find out what you're all about. But you're also currently working on recording and writing new original music with hopes of getting maybe a CD, maybe a 5 or 6 song EP out sometime next year. So how excited are you about this new music you guys have been working on?
Well, we've actually really been pushing into that. We're getting ready to start pre-production per se. That's the last we kind of left off.
Yeah.
We will be writing our own music, which is kind of separate from Ratt. Kind of why I say we're not Ratt.
Yeah.
As a writer for myself, I feel like it's a really excellent opportunity for me to kind of more or less what a mastermind would have done back in the day, you know what I mean, and continue to do today. I feel like I have some kind of duty to represent this style of music and this style of guitar playing as an artist, I guess.
Yeah, and I think once you guys get a CD of original music out there, it'll show people that this is more than just the drummer from Black and Blue and the former Ratt bass player, and their 2 hired guns. It'll show people this is an actual band that where you got actual talented musicians and songwriters, and a band that's got an actual future.
Yeah, I mean it is a band. You know what I mean? It's not kind of like throw it together where you have a guy who decided a bunch of guys to go on the road and play music. We are writing. We will be all creatively
involved.
Yeah. So as I said, it's kind of separate from everything, which is kind of I don't know, it's kind of nice.
Yeah. And now let me ask you, because I've heard a lot of stuff about the fact that the song lack of communication. I guess the way Ratt recorded it was a different way than Juan originally wrote it, and I hear he's doing the version that he originally wrote it. So talk a little bit about that, like how fans been reacting to that. Has it been a positive thing that people have been enjoying?
Yeah, it's too far. However, lyrically speaking, there's a few things that are different.
Yeah.
That's one of the songs that are kind of like a 7/8 kind of thing.
Yeah.
7/4 kind of thing.
Yeah.
The top signature lines we kind of go back into. Like the top signature that there's some embellishment as far as the drums. But I kind of do, which would be deviation from the norm. I understand kind of a little bit more of my own thing while playing that song too. Like if we're doing it that way, it kind of opens up the playing. I ended up doing a lot of like harmonic kind of runs and a lot of heavier kind of. It's more metal per se. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah. And I just throw an idea out there. I would almost think it'd be a cool thing to throw on the CD once you guys get enough material for a CD out there. Just kind of like, okay, this is how the song was originally intended to be recorded. Just even for the diehard Ratt fans, it'd be a cool thing to have, I think.
Actually, that would be a bad idea. I mean, kind of like an extra track on there, just like a
like a bonus track, or something like that. Yeah,
something for fans who just want to just check it out. Like, ooh, I wonder what it could have been. 30 years later.
Yeah, and and I haven't had a chance to see you guys live yet, but I'd love to come see you when you hit Ballet area again. But I would think as a Ratt fan, what makes a band like this so cool is again, this isn't a tribute band or anything like that, and Juan's not trying to come across as like a Stephen Pearcy clone or anything. And I think it's cool that in other words, he's not trying to sing the songs the way Stephen would. He's singing them the way Juan sings them, and that's cool for Ratt fans, I think, in a sense, because it's given new life to these songs. It's given another singer to sing them his way, so to speak.
Yeah, it's just a different take on everybody in the band. Obviously, is different. I think everybody kind of wants to highlight their own thing. I think Stephen's probably doing that. Actually, it's really funny. One of my first concerts I got to see right before I got to World War III was World War III with Stephen Pearcy.
That's funny.
And then I got to get like a whole EP of that thing. But I got to watch Steven perform the songs, and they're different. Like they kind of reflect as to what he is in rap.
Yeah.
And then when you hear these songs, I think it kind of pushes towards the perception of Juan.
Yeah.
I think it kind of works that way with all these bands. It's an interesting thing, maybe for musicians to say, but
yeah.
I think it's just a good time all around. I think everybody brings something to the table, and I wouldn't knock off people. I would say go check out Steven or go check out Bobby or check our thing out. I mean, it's all.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue about Stephen Pearcy in the sense that he is the original voice of Ratt. He's a guy, he was the lead singer on those songs, and while some people will say he's not maybe as good of a singer or whatever, that's a judgment thing, but he's the guy that wrote a lot of those songs. He sang them. So, but then again, I think there's something to be said that Ratt to me is a band kind of like Queen in the sense that these are two bands where they just got a ton of great songs with catchy hooks and stuff. And I think you could get any decent singer in any type of band like Queen or Ratt or even Motley Crue or something like that. If you get a decent enough singer and you got the material strong, you're going to be able to have a pretty decent band. If the singer is pretty decent, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, the truth is that with bands like this or with any band, the thing that matters the most is the song.
Yeah, the songs. Yeah.
The overall message in the song that comes out that people relate to.
Yeah.
And Ratt did that. They relate to people, and a lot of people can relate to the music that they write. There's a lot of music about heartbreak. There's a lot of strong messages per se in the content of the song that that kind of grab people's attention. And as far as style and vocal ability or even guitar ability and that kind of a thing, that matters to an extent.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really knock off an artist like Steven or any singer who has a career as big as this. I mean, keep in mind how many millions of albums they sold and how many concerts they put on, all the bands they toured with. You can't really knock that off just because of a technicality in the future with vocal ability. I mean, the guy is the voice, and even if he may not hit a note, which I don't care about that kind of stuff. I want to want to show.
Yeah.
He puts on a show.
Yeah. And again, people may laugh at me kind of comparing a band like Ratt with a band like Queen, but my point is, okay, let's be honest. Would you rather go see Queen with Freddie Mercury? Of course, but that's not possible. The guy is passed on. But that's why a band like that is still able to go out and tour with two of the original members. They get this guy Adam Lambert. He's a pretty decent singer, but that just shows you how strong the songs are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of people were upset about the whole Adam Lambert thing, and honestly, I respect that. The guy's got such big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
It's Freddie Mercury of all people.
Yeah.
Give the guy some credit.
Yeah.
Or even I've seen a few bands that have done that. I mean, Journey's one of those. Yeah. I mean, Journey. The guy in Journey is actually pretty amazing. But in a sense, it's the music that you want to listen to.
Yeah, and
I kind of stray away from really being so judgmental with people.
Yeah.
Art, people should kind of really look at it.
And the funny thing about the guy in Journey is they got him from a Journey tribute band, but think about that for a minute. I mean, that guy was making a living before he was in the actual band, singing Journey. So he was getting his craft, so to speak. And I mean, that's just one of those amazing stories, And then I got to ask you, your partner in crime, Mike Moore. I know he plays in the band Mr. Crawley, which is a great Aussie tribute. Have you ever had a chance to catch him playing with his band, Mr. Crawley?
I've had many opportunities, and I've gone and seen him. Even I check him out, and then I'd be like, oh, well, dude. But I haven't seen him. I understand it actually sounds really good. It's a really good band, but I've never had the opportunity.
Yeah.
I should at some point.
Well, Tony, once again, I want to thank you for taking time to do this. I've really enjoyed talking to you. And before I let you go, I just want to encourage you, once you guys do get some original music out there, I'd like to talk to you again. And before I let you go, is there any other projects you're currently involved with that you'd like to let us know about?
Well, you know what? I mean, the only other project that I'm doing, which I also very much enjoy, and it's something that I really take to the heart. Maybe I don't say it's deep to me at basically what I'm doing is Gabby Ray, which I don't know if you know who Gabby is. She's a young singer-songwriter doing really big things for such a young age. She's really talented. She's got Wendy Dino's manager.
Oh, wow, wow.
Yeah, we'll do some stuff here in the near future. We got some stuff to fix. I know she's doing it.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, Tony. If you could send me a link to that later for me to check out, and when you guys got something to promote, please get in touch with me again. We could do this all over, because I really enjoyed talking to you, and I hope, if anything, this project you're doing with Mike and Juan and Pete, I hope it gives you like a little more of a higher profile, because it sounds like you're one of those guys that have kind of remained under the radar, but it sounds like you've been involved with a lot of great music over the year, projects and bands and stuff.
Yeah, I guess I'm just a very soft-spoken person. You know what I mean? I don't try to talk. Maybe it's a good thing for myself, but ultimately I don't want to be.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny to hear you say that, because the man, you're kind of playing his guitar parts, Warren DeMartini. That's often what people say about him, is that he's a quiet guy. He doesn't like to do talk a lot. He doesn't like to do interviews. So it's kind of fitting, I guess, that you're playing his parts.
Yeah. So you're good at shoes, so it kind of makes like that we're in the right shoe.
Yeah.
But, yeah, well, actually, if you get a chance, I have some my music, my personal solo music that I kind of write.
Okay.
There.
Okay.
Which is a guitar-oriented instrumental kind of thing.
Oh, I dig that. So, again, anytime you get a chance, just send me a link to check out. I'll be happy to do that. And then, if you like to, promote that as well, we could, do another interview down the line. But I hope you keep my contact info, and anytime you have anything to promote, please feel free to get in touch with me.
Yeah, thanks. I will definitely let you know that.
Okay. Take care, Tony, and you have a nice day.
All right, you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.